even if
Okay,
we go talk about how
we're gonna go ahead and get this meeting called to order on this Thursday, July 18th, 2023, Shelby County Board of Supervisors. You guys have any conflict of interest on the agenda today? Okay, approval of the agenda, number 7 is being removed with the jail stop loss insurance. Could be coming at a later date. And also, Carolyn has a few things going on. She was number 6. She's gonna stop back in about a half hour and then we'll work her in there, okay?
Okay.
Do I have a motion to approve the agenda as I stated?
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Charlie, second by Bryce. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carried. Approval of the minutes of July 6th. Any changes or corrections to that, Mark?
No, sir.
Okay, you guys have any questions on it?
None.
Motion to approve.
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Bryce, second by Charlie to approve the minutes as presented for July 6th. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carried. Approval of the claims, fairly lengthy report there.
Motion
Any
approved.
questions with that? Okay, motion by Charlie,
I'll second.
second by Bryce to approve the claims. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carried. Okay. Again, just reminding everybody, make sure your phones are on vibrate or are off, okay? For some people that came in later. Okay, next on the agenda, CO2 pipeline ordinance injunction update. Last Monday, July 11th, a federal district court judge granted Summit Carbon Solutions' request for a temporary preliminary injunction. The ruling means that the county may not enforce our hazardous pipeline ordinance at this time. We continue to evaluate our options, but a trial in the case is currently scheduled for January of 2024. We have 30 days to respond to the ruling. I know Marcus Gross, our county attorney, and our legal counsel on the ordinance, Tim Whipple, will be reviewing our next step. I have a few comments to make on this whole ordinance injunction process. We have a duty as a supervisor to protect our county. Iowa Code empowers supervisors with the authority of county home rule and enacting ordinances to protect and preserve the rights, the privileges, and the property of the county or of its residents, and preserve and improve the peace, the safety, the health, the welfare, comfort, and convenience of its residents. How do we do this when other levels of government won't support counties or landowners' rights on CO2 pipelines? It seems like we are fighting to protect our rights alone at the local level, and I'm going to give you a few examples. In 1998, our county approved a comprehensive zoning plan with a setback of 2 miles around all cities within our county. Our goal was then, and still is, protecting future economic development growth, especially housing development within the county, along with protecting and growing our tax base. Our comprehensive plan lays out how we hope to do that. Summit is totally ignoring our county's plan and land use priorities. Summit is proposing to build their hazardous CO2 pipeline within a few hundred feet of the city of Erling, totally ignoring the 2-mile setback we have had in our plan for 25 years. Summit complains to the legislature about having their permit rules changed midstream when they're working overtime to change the rules for counties. What a double standard. Iowa Code Section 479B.5 says that pipeline companies petitioning for a permit must state the relationship of the proposed project to the present and future land use and zoning ordinances. Summit is the one that changed the rules when it proposed to put the pipeline right next to Erling. Our ordinance setbacks are portrayed as trying to zone the CO2 pipeline out of the county. Yet, not once during our 4 public hearings did Summit suggest different distances to our setbacks or even objected to anything in our ordinance. Summit also has the option of applying for a variance to reduce the setback distance, which is a common practice under our ordinance. We will work with them to find a way through the county. We only ask that they work with us. Here's an interesting statistic. We have no ethanol plants within our county. In fact, there are 6 ethanol plants within 60 miles of Harlan for area farmers to market their corn. Yet none of the 6 plants have signed on with any of the 3 proposed CO2 carbon pipelines projected coming through Iowa. Those proactive plants are marketing CO2 without pipelines, producing value-added products like dry ice, baking soda, and green energy fuel products, just to name a few. They are forcing this pipeline upon some landowners and farmers in our county using eminent domain while serving no benefit to them or the public. Farmers will be marketing their corn to the ethanol plants outside of Shelby County, driving over the pipelines to get to ethanol plants that thrive without them. There's one thing more than anything else that makes no sense to me. Summit says a hazardous pipeline cannot be required to get a permit from the county. Yet in our county, like most counties, residents are required to get a permit whether it is to build a new house or an office building in the backyard. How can a high-pressure CO2 hazardous pipeline be built between the 2 in the backyard next to the kids' swing set and they are exempt from county permitting requirements? This absolutely makes no sense to me. And in fact, in our code that's been there for 25 years with economic development, the county is responsible for the zoning in the agricultural, rural, unincorporated areas. The cities are in charge of the zoning for their incorporated areas. Ours is all ag. This pipeline is industrial use. That's why they need to come to our board with a permit for them to conditionally go through the county. I mean, it's been there for 25 years. Our response plan and hazardous mitigation plan were ruled to be preempted by the federal standards. The county's legal obligation under Iowa Code Chapter 29C is to engage in emergency response and hazardous mitigation planning, and with the need to protect the health and welfare of both residents and emergency responders is our utmost goal. Our plan required a rupture dispersion modeling report detailing the worst case discharge and blast zone details of a CO2 release that may cause a fatality of a person, persons, or animals, along with a description of potential adverse health effects that could occur from a CO2 pipeline rupture. We are trying to be proactive, addressing these dangers, and transparent with the public and accountable to the citizens of Shelby County. Yet in every turn we encounter roadblocks and double standards that prevent us from doing something we have the power and the obligation to do, and that is protecting people. Why is a dispersion modeling report not available to county officials? We have requested this report several times from Summit. They refuse to release this information until the pipeline route is finalized and construction has begun. Why would they withhold such critical information from the public? Could it be the numbers are alarming and support our setbacks? Last thing we want is Erling to be a second Satarsha, Mississippi, where in 2020 A CO2 pipeline ruptured, causing a citywide evacuation. 45 people ended up in the hospital. Being proactive makes a heck of a lot more sense than being reactive. To get the right of eminent domain, Summit must show the pipeline is a public use. But they won't disclose even the most basic emergency response information with the public. Needless to say, I'm extremely disappointed by the injunction ruling. Even though we will wait to see what happens in the next 30 days, we will continue to pursue our commitment to the residents of Shelby County and fight to protect our rights. I will keep you posted, and that's kind of what I have to say for now. And Marcus is our county attorney here. Do you have any comments or?
I don't think I have anything to add to that, Steve.
Okay. So within the next 30 days, I know you'll be.
We're evaluating our options.
Okay. Okay. At this time, we have a representative from Senator Joni Ernst's office. If you wouldn't mind coming up, both of you, Brittany Rockwell, and Congressman Randy Veenstra's office, Abby Vanderwerf. Welcome. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Hi. You want us to come over here?
Yeah, one could stand there, the other one wants to sit in the chair, whoever wants. Okay. I mean, I don't mean to put you on the spot, but what's your take on the pipelines? And I know we've asked for some clarification on some of the statements that were made in Des Moines from PHMSA in addressing the pipelines and trying to clear up some federal. And I know the PHMSA is looking at redrawing the safety rules, mostly because of what happened down in Satarsha, Mississippi. Do you know how close they're getting with that?
So obviously we can't really speak on behalf of our members, but I guess what we can say is that our case team is kind of looking into where PHMSA's clarifications lie on behalf of the county and setbacks that we had spoken about. And so otherwise, we represent Southwest Iowa and Shelby County for, I do Congressman Veenstra.
I do Senator Ernst.
And so we just like to come and just kind of hear what's going on and just take note of all the public input.
Right. Yeah, because it's, you know, I shouldn't say at some point, we need it already. Since this is a federal pipeline, there's some clarity that needs to come to help us out here protect what we have had here for many generations and do it the right way. That's all we're asking. We're not here to stop the pipeline. Our counties have never taken that position, but we are here that it's in a safe lane and follow our zoning ordinances, our setbacks, so we can protect what we've had here, like with our comprehensive zoning plan for economic development for 25 years. I don't see why anybody could come in here and just say they can go wherever they want to. Our own citizens can't do that. So, do you have anything else?
I mean, we can definitely pass concerns along and make our respective bosses aware, the representatives aware of the situation. But I mean, as far as what we're able to do, it's...
Well, this is not just a one county issue. I'm sure you've heard before. I mean, you can see, I'm guessing a lot of the people that are here today is because of this. So I appreciate you asking and requesting to come today.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Before we move on, does anybody have any comments or questions about the CO2 pipeline? Yeah, Janice, come on up. Just whoever comes up, just state your name. You stand at the podium. Just state your name and why you're here or what questions you have.
I'm Janice Gall. I'm mayor of Erling. We had passed a resolution in support of the Shelby County ordinance on behalf of our citizens. We want to continue the economic development and growth with new housing, business, and infrastructure. I also was directed by our city council to write a reference letter to the Iowa Utilities Board. we are objecting because we are a small, quaint farm town. Our population is approximately 397, with the majority of farmers retiring and moving into town. The rest of the population are working class people, and they currently are working in the, I say, larger cities like Denison and Harlan. Our local fire department is strictly volunteer of local citizens and farmers in the Erling area. They have been advised on anything concerning the pipeline so close to town. I don't believe our fire department can handle a crisis with a rupture of the, or a leakage of the pipeline. With plans for pipeline to go on the east side of Erling, that is where we have a beautiful park and our baseball field. During the summer months, there's many children down at the baseball field or at the playground with no adult supervision. Also, Erling is in the process of completing a creek mitigation that will turn into more recreational area along the park. How would our children be affected? Also, the pipeline is very closely to our water supply. So we're hoping that they would reconsider not getting so close and, you know, be advised of what this could actually do to our economy. Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Jen.
Thanks, Jen.
Anybody else have anything?
You know what's her name. I'm Sherry Webb, Shelby County Century Farm landowner with my sister, my other sister, and my brother. Our family's had this land for 123 years. We do not want a pipeline going through it. That is our choice, and that's the way it should be. If a farmer or a landowner wants to give them an easement, fine. But to force us and demand on us what we don't want is not fair. And it is totally against the United States Constitution and the Iowa Constitution. When I was driving over here this morning, I noticed how pretty the fields are. The corn's tasseling, the beans have finally overcome whatever happened to them because of the drought and spray and whatever. But I'm thinking a year from now, what's it going to look like? The erosion is going to be horrible. They literally rip your land apart to stick a pipe in the ground and then cover it up and hope they get the topsoil on top. That's not going to be the case with most of them. When Summit says we'll restore your land, they cannot restore no-till land. And Summit's not doing it. It's their contractors from Texas, Oklahoma, or Louisiana. Our legislators, whoever is on the side of this thing, are going to be sadly mistaken and sadly surprised that the jobs that they promised and the tax money that they promised is a joke. They made up all these figures. The accounting firm that they used has been convicted of fraud anyway, so it's just another thing that add to Summit's list. Transparent? No. Honest? No. Trust with them? Absolutely not. So last Monday after the injunction, came back from the IUB meeting, a little disappointed. But I will tell you that this sits by my microwave, and it's the reason I fight, because this is our land right here. Comes with us. All of our family has one of these. So thank you.
Thanks, Gary.
Sure.
Anyone else? Before we move on. I'd like to make one last comment that just kind of strikes me. Here as we live in Iowa today, we have setbacks that we all live by. And there's three main ones out there. One, and there's confinements dotted around our agricultural communities in our state. Awesome. People make a living off that. But if you have a 1,000 to 3,000 head hog confinement under the matrix, you have to be 1,875 feet away from a residence, neighboring residence. Okay, not your own if you build it on your own, but up to the neighbors. Windmills, depending on the height in the county, it's all over the board. It's from 1,000 feet to 2,200 feet. They're getting as time goes on, they're learning, they're getting further apart. Solar farms. Under this year's Senate bill study, 1077, it prohibited any solar farms within 1,250 feet of a neighboring residence. Now, the lowest number we have here is 1,000 feet. But none of the above that I mentioned can asphyxiate you or kill you. And they're talking less than 50? I just don't understand it. With that, I'm going to move on. Thanks everybody for your support and showing up today and asking questions. Okay? Brandon Burmeister, secondary roads report and upgrade of level B service road right of way and of level A. Good morning.
Good morning. Hi, Brandon. We had a gentleman approach us on 660th west of M56 to upgrade 220 feet of a level B road to a level A. I believe there's 2 residences on the parcel and he was going to split them and wanted a separate driveway for each. So the total cost of that was $3,268.22 and he has agreed to pay that.
That's his responsibility.
Yes, for all upgrade and rock.
And
So,
that's a policy we've done in the past.
Yes, I have the policy here. It was approved in 2011.
Okay.
1,500 tons a mile, get the road to a level
Yep.
A standard. So I would recommend approval.
Motion approved.
Second.
Motion by Charlie, second by Bryce to make an improvement in the level B, to level B. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carried. Okay.
And I have a brief update. F24 thought the edge drainers were going to move in today, but with the rain.
Just hang on a second. Could you ask that they move out the way or get a little quieter so they don't interrupt with our meeting here?
The chair made a request if any of the discussions could take place outside.
Thank you.
F24, they were going to start today, rains and whatnot. The edge drainers will be in Thursday now, we believe. So they'll get that done, and then pavement will be in August, approximately, is what we've heard. Chris and I went to the mid-year engineers conference last Thursday. It was a good conference, a lot of updates on things that what seems like about the time you get it, then they change it. So, but the good bridge inspection one, and just the requirements of the all systems permit and emergency vehicles. They're really pushing for ratings on those, and everybody's just trying to wonder and figure out how you're going to rate those, because it doesn't seem like any of the fire departments around have the same fire truck. So trying to find the limiting factor between all of them and get it rated for that while not restricting ones you shouldn't restrict. And it's an adventure, but we'll get it. I think there's going to be a lot more clarification here soon on that. So other than that, slurry level and pavement, or pave mark, I thought was going to have those today for you, but the DOT does plan review and they're kind of swamped, so that'll be at the next meeting. They're due the second meeting in August, so we have time there. Guys are out blading and rocking with the moisture. It's pretty nice. I know we've got some spots out there that need rock in them, but it's kind of a catch-22 when it's so dry and dusty. No one wants the dust or the washboards if you dump a bunch of rock on the road, but then when inevitably you get rain, there's a soft spot there.
So we got to keep hauling, in my opinion.
Yep, we're out full blast right now. So excavator crews, one's umbrella north of F24 doing replacing a wood box culvert with an 84-inch culvert. The other one is finishing up on Fur north of 2200th, and then gonna, I believe, go around the corner and start working on 2300th. And then the bridge crew, they're decking on the bridge by the park in a couple more days and they should be out of there.
Okay.
So
Okay.
just the rain and then a couple other things have kind of delayed them a little bit, but they should be out of there. They had big areas to fill on both ends of the bridge. They shortened the bridge up a little bit, so should be out of there here soon and be up by early. So
Okay.
that's all I have for today.
Thanks, Brandon.
Thank
you.
you.
Have anything? Okay. Thank you, man. Todd Blaine, Shelby County Chamber of Commerce report. Good morning, Todd.
Good morning.
Yep.
Start here, it's great, yes.
Yeah, Todd.
Hey. Morning.
Morning. So, really, just a couple of items to go over. One, pretty excited here in about an hour and a half, we'll have our all-members meeting, where we invite all the chamber membership that want to attend to come to our July board meeting. And what we'll do is review the past fiscal year, some of the things that we were able to get accomplished there, and talk about what we're looking to do for fiscal year '24. And one of those things that we'll be touching on, also wanted to touch on for the public, it's going to be kind of a refresh of our website. And I don't have a whole lot of details on it yet, just because it was brought to us by our partner Chamber Nation, who helps us with our website. They brought it to us last week and introduced it to us. It's going to allow us, two of the primary things, it's going to allow us to move information from our website to our social platforms, and from our social platforms to our website just a lot quicker. It's night and day how this new process is going to work. And the nice thing is it's an upgrade of their system, so it doesn't cost us anything. They're just upgrading their system. But they introduced it to us last week, and so look for that coming. You'll see some changes to the template and the way things look, but you'll see a lot more information being available there. Also wanted to let you know that myself and representatives from SWPCO, we attended the most recent city council meeting up in Defiance. So we're working with them right now on the issues that they have up there regarding trying to do some work on their lagoon, as well as doing some work on their water tower and doing some work on their streets, trying to work with them to prioritize things, and let them know that in addition to just some of the federal programs, there's also other services from SWPCO that they can take advantage of, including grant writing and other items that, you know, that's what they're there for, that's what they do. So, meeting went well, and we'll just continue to follow up and follow through with them. This will be something that'll take, of course, a few years to get it all done, but we'll keep working our way through it. That's it for me for today.
Okay.
Okay.
Thanks, Todd. Thanks, Todd.
Thank you.
Next on the agenda, resolution 2023-42, support of Shelby County Trails grant application. Mark?
Yeah, what's happened is the DOT wanted more detail in the resolution that you gentlemen passed last week. So we added one line to it. Through the resolution approved by the Shelby County Conservation Board for a period of 20 years, maintenance will be provided for the proposed trail system in Shelby County. And also the Shelby County Supervisors hereby commits to the Iowa Department of Transportation to secure local match as required by the State Recreational Trails Program funding. In other words, we're getting money from the Trails Committee, not from taxpayers.
Okay, I'm just gonna
Is
ask,
what
so
this is
what's
doing.
that match? The
Yeah.
matches and trails? Okay.
Yes. Is that correct, Robert?
Yes, that is correct.
Okay.
Thank you.
And they just want us to say that we do support it, and we didn't have enough detail for the DOT.
Okay.
And I think a lot of people will realize that that happens quite often.
Yep, makes sense.
I'll make a motion to pass that.
Second. Motion by Bryce, second by Charlie, to approve the resolution for Shelby County Trails grant application. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carried. Thank you. Next up, Shelby County Public Health opioid funding request. Kyle, if you're here, or Neil, you guys mind coming in here too? How are you this morning? Good morning.
Sheriff
So-
Gross had an appointment coming up, so.
You mind just going over your application?
Our project that Public Health would like to do is to extend out into the county schools to do some education on opioid use, and what use looks like, what an overdose would look like, what the treatment is for it. Schools are having Narcan in their systems, in their school systems, so we would just like to extend out and do some education.
Okay.
And hopefully eventually we can do some public education as well.
So would this be a one-year thing or you hope to grow on that?
We hope to grow on
Okay.
it.
Yeah. Kyle, did you have anything to add?
No, she actually
Kyle,
checked off one good.
with our jail and Neil with our sheriff's department, is who the board has given the control of more or less the funding for the opioid funding, is it needs to be spent on opioid-related expenses. And so they've kind of been our watchdog, and majority of the money's going. We always ask for their input before we move forward with anything, and we addressed their needs for this upcoming year at our last meeting.
Correct.
So, what I would like to do before we would approve this is also bring in the Manning Recovery Center. They also have an ask, and then together we'll approve those two. Is that all right? Just
Good morning. How are you?
yeah, you can just sit up front here if you don't mind.
I can scoot a little bit.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Morning.
How are you gentlemen this morning?
Good. State your name.
Glad to meet you.
Yes, my name is Tabanami. I am the director of the Manning Recovery Center over in Manning, Iowa. Nice little surprise here. One of the things that we've been doing in Manning, we've implemented ICAM already, Audubon, some other schools, is that we've started going in over the last 2 years and educating kids on opioid overdose, marijuana, vape, substance abuse, Narcan. I've done a lot of Narcan education the last 2 years into our current school districts in our area. We're trying to expand that program. We bring in, so a couple different aspects. Glidden has had us come in, and they actually wanted our students to hear actual stories from our own staff of their background and their addiction and how that led them to where they're at today versus just giving them education over and over again. Sometimes that doesn't always set into a teenager. We can tell them, even our younger ones, over and over again how drugs, opioids, those things affect them, but sometimes the real life stories hit a little bit harder and closer to home. So we've been doing this the last 2 years. We're trying to expand it, get into more counties, get into more areas. Like I said, we do a lot with ICAM Manning, obviously, already in that district with doing we did a lot of marijuana and opioid education last year. Looking at some new avenues this year to get in and increase the prevention that we currently do. We definitely need more. We are seeing, I should say just seeing now, I've been at Manning for 12 years, and for years the addicts and the abusers that I work with tell me they started their addictions commonly between the ages of 10 and 12. Currently we hit a lot of our high schoolers. It's not enough. We need to get some of our youngers. In Manning last year we started talking down into the 6th grade level, hitting all of our ICAM Manning students at 6th grade level, because they know what's going on more than what as parents any of us want to know, and things like that. So we already offer treatment. We offer outpatient treatment. We offer residential treatment. We cover a lot of this area. For those treatments, we work with way too many sheriff's office and attorneys, parole officers, all of them, working on addiction and opioid addiction and those types of things. So not only do we want to continue to provide services to fix those who are already addicted, we'd like to increase our prevention. I've obviously talked to multiple counties because we're right in the corner. We work with multiple counties. I have talked to other boards of supervisors as well to expand the opioid education in our areas. I know I have a teenager in ICAM Manning School District. He has friends that are from Harlan and Carroll and Denison. So, you know, we talk to one school and maybe speak to one set of teens. They're around lots of teens in the area, just like any high schoolers are. So we need to hit more than the few schools that we are. Like I said, we worked with 4 different districts last year, only 1 the year before that. So trying to expand that every year. But as we all run into, prevention doesn't, you can't bill that to insurance. The stuff that we do bill isn't paid very well as it is. We can't bill prevention usage to insurance companies, so we have to find other avenues, which comes with a lot of grant writing, reaching out to county supervisors, and funding requests with the opioid summit and things like that.
So what are you hoping to do with this new program, and how much will it cost? And what kind of requests would you like to see from our county? And
So our biggest thing is obviously wanting to expand the prevention. In Carroll County, we are looking to work with other departments, so we could do the same here with Harlan, Shelby County, things like that. We would like to bring in a full-time preventionist in Manning, is what I would like to do. So not only expand on the schools, expand in our communities as well, community education. I get a lot of people, older people that will, just in general, that either have teenagers or loved ones that will call me and be like, hey, I don't understand what my loved one's going through, how can you help? We don't currently have classes for other people wanting to know. If you come in and schedule an appointment with me, I'll meet with you, educate you the best I can. So we'd like to be able to expand on the prevention in our area, which brings in a full-time employee. So we are trying to get the funding for a full-time employee in Manning to offer these services in all the surrounding counties. With that, being able to offer what they request. We have employers that will reach out to us and ask for specific education, and so we build what they want that meets their department. Whether it's an employer, whether it's like the schools, different schools want different things. And so we build the education to match what they think they want, and then we offer other ideas as well to make it more customizable for each district.
okay, would something like this interfere with what you're doing or add to it?
I feel like we could work together.
That's what I was just saying.
And we are looking at that with some other counties.
Yeah.
There are two of the counties I went to, nobody else had any ideas or thoughts or presented, so.
So, and you guys are open.
Yes, Ann and I have
Yeah.
plans
Dan
on
and
it.
I,
You don't know unless you ask.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
the more,
I was the school nurse at IKEA Manning for a long time, so I know.
the wonderful
Taya.
privilege of my teenager.
Yeah.
But we all have the same interest in the kids and the
Right.
districts and the counties, and not that that's the only goal, but it's the area that's not
Covered.
covered
Right.
enough.
Right.
And our
It's a
kids
very-
know way more than we think they do.
Pivotal
Correct.
moment too, because, I mean, even in the jail setting, a lot of the younger people that are 18 that are coming in, 19 that are incarcerated with opioid addictions have basically been on it for 7, 8 years.
Yep.
So it's crazy. I mean, random pills found in the closet or, med closet.
And we're seeing more heroin and fentanyl addicts that are starting at 10, 12, where, 10 years ago when I was talking to my patients, they were meth, marijuana at 10, 12. Well, now we're just taking it to a whole nother level. And a lot of these students, including parents, don't understand. I get a lot of people that come and say, Taya, it's just a plant. It's just a plant I'm using, it's just marijuana. Well, it's not. Maybe in the 60s or 70s it was just a plant. It is so manufactured and regrown at this point in our life that you can go on the internet and they're advertising that the THC in their marijuana or the THC in their vapes is 80-90%, and they're proud of that because that's obviously the market they're reaching at. It's not just the plant that people were growing years ago because it's been so altered to be so much stronger, and I'll get people in their 60s that come into treatment for marijuana because they used to use it every day and now they can't tolerate it but they can't get off of it.
Correct. Or it's a gateway drug and they want the next
Yes.
high. They're chasing the next
Yep.
high. They need something better and stronger.
Yep. And we're all seeing this. Like I said, I work with way too many sheriff's departments than I ever thought I would in my life. But
I'm just curious. I know because your guys' facility is probably 8 years since Manning. When did the new Manning Hospital?
2014 we moved to the new
2014.
facility, but we've been there
And you're
41 years
currently
now,
a 16-bed inpatient facility.
which is our federal cap. We cannot get any bigger.
Really? Okay, that was my next
I would
question.
love
because,
to expand. My poor
it's a highly
CEO.
sought after program.
cap you on
Yeah.
There's some tricky federal regulations with mental health and substance abuse, so we have a very fine line with going over 16 beds, and my wait list at all times is 30 to 50 people. 6 to 8 weeks, which if you can imagine, if you get to that point of needing help, waiting 6 weeks is a death sentence for some people.
Correct.
So jails will hold people for us until we can get them a bed. The hospital will hold overflows for me. I detox on the hospital side, so I see that as well. I don't hold patients on the hospital side until I can get them a bed in the recovery center. We are one of maybe 6 left in Iowa that take Medicaid because the Medicaid reimbursements are so poor that we can't afford to. So you have to look for other avenues for financing, obviously, with things like this. And we're so set on treatment. Why are we not doing more prevention? Why are we not trying to prevent this more? I know when I was in high school a few years ago that, they brought in the truck with the cars smashed on it, and the dad that told you their kids were killed by drunk driving. That didn't stop me from drinking alcohol in high school. It didn't stop me from doing things. So, but maybe it hit one kid. And I can't say my teenagers had a whole lot of education outside of the fact that I know he's very well educated because of my own education to him. But some of his friends I know don't know as much as what they think they do until I talk to them and kind of set in a hard reality for them to hopefully change some ways or get some thoughts in their minds.
Do you guys service like the whole state of Iowa?
Yes, we have had somebody from all 98 counties in the last 5 years. I just ran a report when the opioid funding came out and I went down to the state level. But we service all 99 counties. Obviously a lot from your Potawatomi County, Woodbury County, we see a ton. Oskaloosa is huge.
Polk County?
Oh yes.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Most of the sheriffs on a first name basis when they walk in know who I am. So
And that's crazy to think that they're coming on. I mean, they have more resources
here, yes.
up in that area.
And we, in our counties, we are very blessed. We do have a lot of resources in our area. We work with a lot of mental health programs. And O'Bannon currently, if you've seen any of your stuff, we're also pushing our mental health. I just hired a full-time mental health therapist because substance abuse and mental health go hand in hand and we don't have enough of it. There are multiple counties I refer people out and they're waiting. They might get their initial eval in a week, but then they're waiting 3 or 4 months for a follow-up. And that's not okay for somebody in a mental health crisis or standpoint. So in substance use, the opioid pandemic, it all ties together. So what areas do we all have to hit? Well, there are multiple. Thankfully, my administration at Manning has kind of let me push some of those things in place already. The third part I need is prevention, and I've kind of, maxed out what I can get out of Manning this year. So just trying to find other avenues, and then they're ready to let me embrace the next aspect with some funding.
Is Polk County willing to give you some money?
We have not made it there, but my
First name basis.
they are on the list. I'm starting locally because obviously I
Yeah.
can't send my staff to Polk County to the schools.
Correct.
But we do service a lot of those counties. They are fully aware. Our marketing, Shelly Grieving is our marketing person, has reached out to a lot of other counties. We speak a lot with representatives, and I've been at the state level working on the Medicaid reimbursement rate for 3 years as it is. So we do keep in a lot of counties, and as the sheriffs walk in, I put bugs in their ears like, hey, what's your county doing with this opioid money? What are they thinking?
Well, it's nice having you so close.
Yeah, they were good. I mean, they're a
I'm
great
sure-
facility to work with.
I'm sure Shelby County uses your resources.
Yeah, we work a lot with Shelby County in the areas that I'm aware of. We still cover all the outpatient and treatment for Shelby County.
Okay.
And recently, Jackson Recovery, Rosecrans, and Denison announced they're closing.
Yep.
They will be closed by the end of the month,
Wow.
so we are also working on covering all that as well.
Okay.
They're moving
Just
that to
looking-
Sioux City, I believe.
Yes, they're just closing their Denison
Yeah.
campus, so
Which, I
they'll,
mean, they closed the Harlan one here 6 years ago.
Yeah.
That hurt,
Okay.
and we utilized the Denison one, and that,
Right.
and so we've worked with Denison the last 2 weeks to get all their transition, and are hoping to figure out a better coverage way currently than what they have in place.
So I know the information you send out, you're looking like you talked about a prevention program. On that information you send out, you're looking at a program that costs about $165,000.
Yep.
So what would you like to see from us?
I would like to see anything you have to offer.
So you really don't have an amount or?
You have the full extent of what we'd like. I don't know what county, all the counties are kind of waiting to see what each other one does, is what I've kind of gotten with. I meet with Carroll County on Friday. I've met with Crawford and Audubon. They're the 4 surrounding counties that we've asked this of. If you divide that, it's what, 44,000 a county. If we could get all the counties to chip in. I don't have the impression that Audubon has that much, but I could be wrong there.
Okay.
They're looping back around after we reach out to all the counties, and then I'm hoping to send a nice wide email out to all 4 and get the final product. But
Okay.
a minimum of bringing on a new employee is, $90,000 just to even get that happen. Currently, I have this stuff divided between all my staff. They're already stretched thin as it is, and now with Rosecrans shutting down, we're taking on more outpatients. We've outgrown our space, so I'm stretching my staff, and thankfully they're good sports, and they jump on the board, and they will do it because it needs to be done. But it'd be great to have another employee in there to focus on prevention and offer it to more school districts than what we already do.
Okay. Well, to move this along, I gotta see the numbers, I have to see things on a paper, and so I went through our opioid funding. Our allotment is right in the neighborhood of $10,000 a year, okay? We haven't spent much in the last few years, so going in July 1 of this year, we had $44,313, okay? We approved last board meeting for the jail and sheriff's department, $11,950 for this next fiscal year. That leaves us $32,000 and change, okay? Because we only get 10, That's what we'll be having for next year. We don't want to deplete this whole fund and our emergencies in our county, okay? So I'd like to see a 25% reserve out of that 32. So that's $8,000, so we'd have 24,000 and change to spend here, okay? If we did 3,000 for public health, we would have in the neighborhood of $21,000, okay? It'd be a one-time thing. It ain't something we can do again next year, because I went and looked at next year's budget. So if we had an $8,000 carryover that nothing happened this year, and we get our allotment of $10,000, we'd have 18. The jail and sheriff's department have their usual things of $12,000. Gets us down to 6. And if public health, like they talked about, they'd like to do this as a continual thing of $3,000. That only lets us about $3,000 left at the end of next year.
Understandable.
Okay, so I think that could work. I don't know what you think, Kyle.
No, I would agree with that. I mean, like you said, I mean, we're limited. We're obviously a smaller county, and the way the funds
Yeah, we only
were
have so much money.
divvied up, I mean, your larger counties more, they obviously got more of the
I saw the
pot.
breakdown.
Yeah, so, you know, I'm not sure what, Carroll County obviously being a little larger than us, I'm not really sure what they roughly get or per year, but, you know, I mean, obviously keeping it within what we deal with, I mean, you as well, but with a lot of opioid addictions and stuff where.
Which is why we reach out to every county.
Correct.
And as many as we can,
Yeah.
because
And
the
jail
funding we
setting
can get at least gets us started. And the ability to build that into our budget for upcoming years. Obviously, grant writing, I know somebody brought up, is a whole nother world. We constantly are applying for grants. We are just limited, so one of our benefits is that we're attached to a hospital, but it also knocks us out of a lot of funding grants for SUD facilities because we're attached to a hospital.
You're not considered standalone?
No, we are
Because
not.
it's
We are
more
part of the
like-
hospital. It's one of the only reasons I can take Medicare patients. So we can take Medicare patients. We're one of maybe 3 in the state that can. But it's actually one of those benefits. So if we would go for a standalone, I would not be able to help patients with Medicare.
Just curious, some question for this. Sheriff's Office court order committals or whatever that come to you.
Yep.
Where does that bill go?
The patient, they have to have insurance
Insurance.
or private pay. I mean, you can private pay. There are people that write checks.
Correct, okay.
But yeah, court committals, which is where some of the judges and I have to have a few conversations. They can sure court commit to me, but I still have to have a bed and they have to have a way to pay.
See,
So counties don't actually pay for it.
most of the people that we have submitted to you guys, we have to usually end up releasing from jail and giving them an X number of days
So
to
they can get their insurance
so they
back.
get their insurance, because when you
Yes.
come incarcerated, your private insurance, public insurance, state fund insurance.
Yep, it drops. Another issue that I've been bringing to
Yeah.
the state with Medicaid is,
Legislative, they've tried it where we can get, like, we keep Medicaid lease for 30 days,
Yep.
because,
and once 30 days hit, they lose their insurance, and then I have to work with the judges to put somebody back out on the streets for 7 days to get their insurance in place before they can come to me. Terrible process.
correct.
Medicaid needs a whole nice little
So-
revision, but
We need to move on here.
Yes.
Are you okay?
I'm good
Because
with those numbers. I
The
mean,
board initially, when all this opioid funding started, it was sheriffs and jails were going, and that's where the need is at. So we want to make sure our own local
Of
needs
course.
are covered first. And with their blessing, we will try to help, which comes back to our county anyway. So would you be okay with a 3,000 request from Public Health and Manning Recovery Center of 21,000? And that would not short us, you know, we still
Still
have
keep
the
the
reserve
reserve.
there if something else comes up.
Additional. Yep.
Yeah, I have a question.
Yeah.
My only question would be, if you don't get all of the money raised to hire an employee, then what's the plan for the money that we?
Good question.
good question. So I do have backup plans in place with my current staff. The counties that are able to help us out will be the counties that we focus on with the staff that we have in the school districts. I do have to reach out to those school districts, and I have a feeling it's gonna be a great sidekick here that we can work out this together. And obviously I can't force myself into a school. They have their own things that they have to get done, but the counties that do help us out are the counties that we'll focus on getting what we have into place. I do have a full-time preventionist built into our 5-year plan. So it's still coming, it's just I would like to see it sooner than the 5-year plan that I'm able to make happen. And the funding that we can get through that will hopefully make that happen this school year yet.
Okay. So
But yes.
if it doesn't quite meet your goal, it's still gonna be used, the money will be used for that.
Yes, yep. And that large number we asked for adds a little bit of mental health in there. That will be the part that is taken out currently, and the prevention is the first priority.
Okay. Okay.
Very strict on how it's spent.
Yes.
Any other questions?
I'm good.
Karen? Okay. Do I have a motion to approve $3,000 for the public health, Shelby County Public Health request and $21,000 to Manning Recovery Center. This would be for this fiscal year.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yep.
Can't make any promises for next year.
Understand?
Motion approved. Motion by Charlie,
Second.
second by Bryce. Any other questions? All those in favor say aye.
Contact the auditor's
Motion
office,
carried.
I mean, for
Yes. Yep.
separate transaction, public health usually does it as they go, expends it as they go. Just talk to us and
We'll take care of
we'll
that.
get it straightened out with you.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you. Appreciate your time.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Kyle.
You bet, thank you.
Yep, thanks everyone.
Okay, supervisor committee reports. I guess I'll start first. The only thing I have is at the next meeting, during my supervisor report, I'll give an update of the IUB process that is going to be starting here. We have till, we being the 7 counties that are in the IUB intervention, we have till the 24th, which is next Monday. Our attorney has to get all his testimony, all the evidence, all the things, because they moved the IUB process, was supposed to start in October, now they moved it up 2 months. So everybody's scrambling, so I'll give you a little more detail of what we're looking at doing there with our intervention with the other counties. That's really all I have for right now. You guys have?
I got one. Attended the MAPA meeting last Wednesday, and we do have money in TAP. I told Bob for trails. If the application is applied to MAPA, probably not all the money you guys need, but I think there's like 620,000 or something like that in there, or more. So, Bob, you can put your application in for the grant. And I got a email from Travis Hahn just this week mentioning Shelby County trails in there, so I'm thinking that'd probably be a pretty positive place to get some money.
Good. Thanks for looking into that.
Conservation Board met with the Early City Council about a 2080 agreement we have with them for the management of Shimrosky Park. It's a 5-year deal. We review it every year, and it sounds like we made some headway. We're gonna share expenses and basically
The agreement is, we have a council meeting tonight, and our attorney says he has the 28E agreement, so.
Good.
So,
Nice partnership.
yeah, it is, very nice. They take care of the park very well, and we share expenses, so it works out great.
Okay.
That's all I got.
Okay.
Should I go get Carolyn?
She's right out here.
Oh, she's here.
Carolyn Bloom, Department Report and Semi-Annual Report. Good morning, Carolyn.
Good morning, everybody.
Morning.
Morning.
Start with the semi-annual report.
Good news?
I don't control the money, only the intake, not the output. The revenues, yes, expenses, not so much. But I do certify the treasurer's ending balance on the second page, on the back of the first page, I should say. And then I also included last year at this time. You'll see that the report, the look of it is a little bit different. That was when we were installing that new financial program. So the software company worked with us on establishing the one that looks more like an Excel spreadsheet there. Just some like notable differences if you're looking at like the ending balance and comparing that to last year's. You know, it's just all in the timing of maybe when some claims were paid or something. For example, on the, just at a quick look through of that, the secondary roads balance this year compared to last year, you know, there's like a $500,000 difference. And that may be just, I don't know, equipment purchase or something like that. Same way with capital projects, that's much less this year. So if there was something that was done last year compared to this year, we're looking at a difference of, you know, like $2 million almost right there. And then same way with like the ARPA money, you know, that was obviously more last year, and with things that were
that money was used for, brings down that balance, of course, too, just.
Not too far off.
Right. But just like to give you an idea of where we were last year at this time as well.
Okay. No red flags to you?
None for my office, no.
Okay. Okay.
Any
Anybody have any
questions?
questions?
None?
None for me.
Motion to approve our semi-annual report.
Motion?
Second.
Motion by Charlie, second by Bryce. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carried. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thank you. Just a couple of things, updates, my office. On May 4th, the governor signed into law House File 718, which that bill allows counties that issue driver's license to charge a $10 convenience fee in addition to the fees for issuance of the driver's license renewal or non-operator ID cards, who is not a resident of our county. So we're more than happy to help, anyone from any part of the state, because you can go anywhere in the state of Iowa to obtain your driver's license or ID. But, they were, the Treasurers Association kind of put out some figures and numbers, how much some of us who are a neighboring county to bigger, higher populated counties like us being neighboring counties to Potawatomi County, how our taxpayers are supporting that and how that seems, a little bit unfair for our taxpayers and things like that. So they're trying to recoup some of those costs. So just to kind of give you an idea, just in the first 5 days, we collected $140. And so that does not include, people here who are testing, which, today a lot of our customers today are taking some tests, CDL tests and operator tests and things like that. We don't charge for that. We just charge when the actual issuance takes place of the ID or the driver's license. So it's a way to kind of help support our county with that. So that's going well. And then also, like I said, it doesn't include those from out of county that we, like today, we're doing our drive day to our car drive day. And so unless they actually pass and we issue them, then there is no charge for that until we actually issue the license. Tax sale figures, I apologize, I probably should have printed this off for you, but tax sale figures from our June 19th tax sale. This year, our unsold properties were, that didn't sell in tax sale was 7 parcels totaling $477. So those are just $477. So
Of the
there's
total of the 4 parcels?
of the 7 parcels.
Or 7 parcels?
Correct. So they're just like little parcels, I think that people,
Okay.
even though they're sent reminders, they're sent, the notice of the tax sale, delinquent notices, I just think it just probably gets set aside and they'll get collected, but they're just little parcels, little strips next to their original parcel that their mortgage company may not pay.
Okay.
A couple of those were mobile homes, so those aren't, too high of tax dollars. Comparison to last year, there was only 1 parcel totaling $26 that didn't sell last year. This year's sold properties, we had 53 parcels that sold on the tax sale, totaling $54,927. Last year we had 73 parcels that went to the tax sale, totaling $73,512. Investor bidders, this year we had 216 investors that registered for our tax sale. Last year we had 177, so we had more bidders, but less parcels that went on the tax sale.
That surprise you?
There's primarily right now, there's about 6 investor groups that do this. And, it does to me at the very end because they know how many parcels that are going on the tax sale, so they know what their odds are. So it always surprises me like that those last few days when more people register, like maybe they've already registered, 30 numbers and then they register another 20. And knowing what the odds are of getting the actual property, that usually surprises me, but that's okay, we'll take it.
Yeah, it's good they're out there.
It's good that they're out there, and they are investor groups, they're savvy they know what they're doing, so they, they're easy to work with as far as, all the paperwork involved that we do with that. The tax auction company, because this is a live tax sale online, The tax auction company gets $40 and the county gets $10 of that, but.
Okay.
So it's there again, it's a little bit of revenue for us. Any questions about that, the tax sale?
No, it's all very successful.
Yeah, it went really well. I'm very pleased with the online procedure that we've been doing the last few years. I think this is our 4th year of doing that instead of having it here in-house. But I would say probably out of the 99 counties, probably about 70 to 75 of them do the online tax sale. Some people still host it in-house, but the online version is obviously more the preferred method. Then electronic title registration has really picked up. Dealers can submit their customer title work electronically rather than by paper for us to process, although we still get, different other methods. In fact, it's doubled since last year at this time, and recently used vehicles can also be titled electronically if those dealerships provide it. So basically it takes the same amount of time to process these, for our office staff to process those transactions. It basically just saves the customer a trip to the courthouse. And so if the dealership collects all the fees and collects all the signatures, then they can just avoid that trip to the courthouse. So
Okay.
especially for those who aren't around this area, maybe during our normal business hours. I also brought it to your attention here back in April that our CADL driver had resigned. There's a lot of changes going on with the DOT, and so I let you know that. And I'm still in the phase of currently weighing the pros and cons of his replacement. Just a couple things in talking to Bill Bartleson from the DOT. He's in charge of the CDL testing and the skills course and everything like that. He just wanted to bring a few things to my attention and to pass along to you guys as well, just so that you were aware of the status of that. So just took some notes from him when he was here and visited with me back in May. The DOT is changing the skills testing course, which is what we have down at the fairgrounds, the testing course down there, to meet new AMBA regulations, which is the American Association of Motor Vehicle Administrators. There's going to be some new changes this fall. They came out and measured our course, which I was informed that he said he reviewed the diagram and it appears the current location is about 40 foot short going to the west. So before we proceed with anything, we need to let him know before we make any plans to, go forward with that.
We'd have
Also-
to get the fair board's
Approval.
blessing.
And then the expense of doing that.
Right.
With that being said, he also said that the DOT is not even offering a training session until late fall, early winter. However, they're going to be starting with the current examiners first to teach them the new course rules that we just talked about. And there's 190 people that do this, that administer this testing. So we would be 200 or so in line probably to get this done after all those current ones get tested. Also with that, the governor signed into law something that expands third-party testing. The DOT doesn't know yet what that will look like under the administrative rules listed under this House file. And if this opens up to third-party testing, it may allow companies to become their own testers. And it's up to the DOT to write those administrative rules. So he's just kind of cautioning us on that and how that plays out before we also proceed with anything along with that. Also, there's been some conversations that Iowa Western Community College plans to have Harlan as a location for testing, meaning that they would provide the ELD training and the drive examiner skills testing. And then we would just be the ones to issue the driver's licenses for those. So lots of things to think about. Just want to keep you informed of what's going on there, why I'm not proceeding with that one way or the other, just to kind of see how this
it's kind of
plays
limbo
out.
right now.
Exactly, yeah. And I know, the county is also, with engineer's office, they're, kind of meeting their needs with that too, because that's become more and more
Right.
popular with the cost of doing so.
Right. Right.
But that's all I have for today. I know I talk fast,
Okay.
but I know you guys are having a
No,
long day here.
appreciate all you do.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank
Have a
you.
good day.
Okay. Thank you. Anybody have any questions or comments before we adjourn? Okay, meeting adjourned. Thanks, everybody.